Vam sat evam satatayuktaye bhaktasvam pariyupasate ye chapyaksharamavhyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamam.
Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Verse 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesya Mano Ye Mam Nityayukta Upasate Shraddhaya Pariyopetas Te Me Yukta Tamamataha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect.
Verse 3 and 4. Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam Avyaktam Pariyupasate Sarvatra Gam Achintyam Cha Kutastham Achalam Dhruvam Sanyam Saniyam Indriyagramam Sarvatra Samabuddhayaha Te Prapnuvanti Mam Eva Sarvabhutahite Rataha.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me.
Verse number 5. Kleshodikattarastesham avyaktasaktachetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavatpir avapyate.
For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Verse 12 and 6, 12, verse 6 and 7, sorry. Ye tu sarvani karmani mಯಿ sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya vesita chetasam.
But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pratha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
Verse 8. मयि एव मन आदत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशयः निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः.
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt.
Verse 9. अथ चितं समद्धातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगिना तत्तो माम इच्छाप्तुं dhananjaya.
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me.
Verse 10. Abhyas Abhyasapi asamarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapyasi.
If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Verse 11. Athaitad api asaktosi kartum mad yogam ashritaha sarva phala tyagam tata kuru yatatmavan.
If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self situated.
Verse 12. Shreyo hi jnanam apyasaj jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagak shantirat anantaram.
If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Verse 13 and 14. Advesta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha kshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma drata nishchayaha मयि अर्पितमनो बुद्धिर् यो मद्भक्तसमे प्रियः.
One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me.
Verse 15. Yasmanot vichate loko lokanot vichate chayaha harshamarshaypayot tvagir mukto yasachame priyaha.
He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me.
Verse 16. Anapeksha suchir daksha udasino gatavyataha sarvarambha parityagi yo mat bhakta same priyaha.
My devotee, who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me.
Verse 17. Yo na hrishyati na dvesti na sochati na kankshati subha subha parityagi भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः.
One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me.
Verse 18 and 19. Sama satrau cha mitra cha tatha manapamanayo shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samasanga vivarjitaha tulya ninda stutirmoni santusto yena kenachit aniketa sthiramater bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me.
Verse 20. Ye tu dharmamritam idam yatoktam pariyupasate shraddha dana mat parama bhaktasme tiva me priyaha.
Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. That was wonderful recitation. Are you
Thank you,
able to?
Mother.
Thank you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see the slides on the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, thank you for that wonderful recitation, and we will continue with chapter 12, Bhagavad Gita. So we'll recite the prayers first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे Gauravani pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarine Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripataham vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Om Tat Sat. We'll continue with the chapter 12. Today we will try and discuss the 8 to 12 verses of devotional service chapter, which are the progressive stages of bhakti. So till now, I understand that up to verse 14 was discussed the two qualities, and we were supposed to do this on Tuesday. I could not make it, so we'll try and do it today. So Arjuna inquires who is better, personalist or impersonalist, and Lord Krishna, in the first 7 shlokas, he establishes that personalist, a devotee who worships Krishna, is the best, and bhakti is the supreme path, and bhakti gives the best result. Not only that, but the path itself is very blissful. So the goal is blissful, and the means to the goal is also very blissful. It is the endeavor itself is very happy, the process of bhakti yoga. And so then it moves on to Krishna explains that what is the best way to connect with Krishna. And because Krishna is so merciful and accommodative, he gives so many options that if you can't do this, then you connect in this way. If that's not possible for you, then you do this. So like that, we come to verse number 8. So we will recite that. Okay. Yeah. So the word says, Maya Veshyaman, Maya Mayeva Manadhatsva, Mayi Buddhim Niveshaya, Nivasishyasi Mayeva, Ata Urdhvam na Samshayah. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So here what Krishna is saying, first line, Mayeva Manadhatsva, means that you try to connect with Krishna by loving emotions. Now, mind is a storehouse of emotions and feelings. So connecting with Lord by loving emotions is highest form of bhakti, and it is also called Smaranatmika Bhakti. Smarana itself means to always remember Lord. And this is done alone at the mind level. So fix your mind on me. And at this stage, the devotee is constantly thinking of Krishna. And here, last time when we discussed, we had mentioned that gopis of Vrindavan are the highest devotees and the best example of this bhakti, Smaranatmika Bhakti, who is always thinking of Krishna and wanting to please Krishna, serve Krishna with very loving emotions and feelings. So their minds are fixed. We had also seen the example of Ambarish Maharaj, right? Prahlad Maharaj. So, and Mother Yashoda, when she is churning butter for Krishna, the Damodar pastime, we can see that how all her senses are engaged along with the mind, who is completely focused on Krishna. So this is the highest form of bhakti, and this may not be possible for everyone to do, especially in this yuga, where our mind is distracted by so many things. So the next thing to do is Mai Buddhim Niveshaya. So what's Krishna saying here is that use your intelligence to understand the tattva, the greatness of the Lord, and how you will do it is by studying the scriptures. So we can see that in Bhagavad Gita, there are beautiful shlokas in 10th chapter 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. And we also know 7th chapter, there is the verse Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya Mai Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Manigana Eva. So What is Krishna saying? That there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. How the pearls will completely disintegrate if the thread was not holding it. Even though the thread is invisible, that's what is holding everything together. That's how Krishna is that thread that is holding all the planets in this material world together, like that. There are so many unlimited planets in one galaxy, and there are so many galaxies like that, and so many universes. Everything is held together. The planets are staying in orbits. Everything is happening by the energy of Krishna himself. So one who understands the greatness, the tattva, he can then by that understanding slowly develop love for Krishna. So it's not necessary that somebody who has knowledge of Krishna is also in love with Krishna. So then that intelligence and understanding becomes very dry. What do you do when you know someone and you love someone? You serve them like a mother serves the child, the children. In the same way, because there is a love, there is a loving bonding there. So this is what it is said in this verse, that if you can't naturally all the 24/7 think of me and love me, then what you do is you use your intelligence to understand my tattva, and then gradually you come to the stage of smaranatmika bhakti, which is like the highest, which is always thinking of Krishna. So in this way, um, this verse says, and then what is Nivaishishya mayeva ata urdhvamna samshayaha, means no samshayaha. There is no doubt about it that if you do this, then you will live in me always. And that also means that you will be in my heart, and I'll carry you in my heart, and you'll carry me in your heart. And there is no doubt about it that you will reach me. So that is basically 12.8. The two levels are given here. Mayeva Manadatsva, which is connect with Krishna by loving emotions and feelings, thinking of him all the time. Fix your mind. Here the mind is fixed, and 8b, it is about using your intelligence to understand the tattva, and gradually then you will come to the stage of developing that loving bonding with Krishna. So um, this way we can see that this is on the this is verse 12.8, and also in the purport, I just put some nice things from the purport of this verse. So here Srila Prabhupada says that when he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and the devotee becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants. So this is how one can offer food to Krishna and then become spiritualized. A devotee does not live on the material plane, he lives in Krishna. And this is Mayevaman Adatsva. He's completely absorbed in Krishna all the time. And also, one example of this Mayevaman Adatsva, Smaranatmika Bhakti, is chanting, because chanting is done at the level of mind. We are really trying to focus the mind when we are chanting. So Srila Prabhupada says the holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. So this chanting is also an example of Mayevaman Adatsva, fixing your mind in Krishna. So that is 12.8. Now next verse that comes here is another option. Now here what he's saying is that Atachittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So here, what is the Krishna saying is that if you are unable to focus your mind on me without deviation, then you do abhyasa, then you try, then you practice to do this. Come to the stage of practicing, to be doing 12.8. And here we can see that even in the 6th chapter, Arjuna has said, right? Before Arjuna says that how the mind is fickle, Chanchala hi mana Krishna, that verse 6.34. Before that, Krishna says how to do the this dhyana yoga, sit on a kusha grass and meditate in between your eyebrows and fix your mind, and all those steps are given. And then Arjuna says, but it is so difficult, the mind is so fickle. And then Krishna says in 6.35 that asamshayam mahabaho. Yes, he says, I acknowledge that yes, mind is very fickle, but by practice and detachment, you whatever is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness, if you detach from it and if you practice, then you can control your mind. So that's what is said here also, that you practice to control your mind, and by under the guidance of a guru, following the principles of sadhana bhakti, you can thus practice to come close to Krishna, try to fix your mind. So in 8th verse, it is said that your mind is fixed on me, so you will attain me. But in the 9th verse, it says, try to practice to fix your mind on me, and then you will develop desire to attain me. So at this stage, you will practice, and thus you will gradually, slowly develop a desire to attain me. So this is a lower stage than the 12.8. Those bhaktas are already naturally 124/7. They don't need to practice, it is naturally happening in their mind. They are totally absorbed in Krishna. But here the devotee is practicing. So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, one should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take bath, enter the temple, and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna. Then collect flowers to offer to the deity, cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity, take prasadam, and so on. So this is what a devotee does in his daily routine, is practicing to connect to Krishna. So that is the, and here we can see various activities. This family is doing kirtanam, and here they are, doing deity worship, and he's a pujari. The devotee here is offering nice arti and preparing foodstuffs and then offering it to the Lord. So this is a practice stage where the devotee is following all the principles nicely under the guidance of a guru. So here a devotee is still doing bhakti on mental plane only, and but still at this stage his mind is going here and there, but he tries to bring it back. Thus he's doing abhyasa, he's doing practice, and he's trying to detach from all the unfavorable things to Krishna consciousness. So then what Krishna says next is that 12.10. Here it is, bhakti is done with the external senses, work for Krishna. So let's see. Abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapshasi. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you'll come to the perfect stage. So here, what they are saying is that if you can't even do what is in 12.9, which is following the principles of Bhakti Yoga, then what do you do? Okay, then you work for Krishna. Now here the bhakti is done on the external senses. 12.8 and 9 are both about the subtle senses. It is done on the mental level. You are still trying to fix the mind in 12.9. But here, this is easier level. That here you use your senses. Say you grow flowers for the worship of Krishna, you grow vegetables for the worship of Krishna, for cooking. You may be doing volunteering work to look after the cows of Krishna in the Goshala, or you may be doing volunteer work during festivals. All these things that you do, here you are using your senses. So say, for example, these people who are doing this voluntary work, their mind may not be engaged in Krishna, but body is. Yes, mind may also be engaged, but it's not like 24/7 they are doing this and mind is engaged. So in 12.9, 12.8, all the time the mind is engaged. 12.9, sometimes the mind is engaged by practice. 12.10, it may not be engaged at all, or it may engage sometime, sometime not, but the senses are working anyway. You may be doing all this work, but your mind might be somewhere else. But that is fine. That is absolutely fine. Because even by working for me, Krishna says, you will gradually come to the perfect stage. So even this is a very, very good beneficial to work for Krishna. That's what this verse says here. And every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay. So some organization to expand. So same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. So we can see here that there is no pure love here for Krishna, but some work is done for Krishna. So if you cannot practice regulations of Bhakti Yoga in 12.9, then just try to work for me. Thus you will come to the perfect stage. Thus engage your senses in Krishna's seva, assist in gardening, grow flowers, grow vegetables, goshala, charity work, give charity to build temples, do some voluntary work in service of Krishna. And if you do all this, Krishna acknowledges this, that this is what services you are doing. So, say for example, even for deities, clothes and garments, clothes, jewelry, dress, all this is required. To cook for Krishna, so many ingredients are required, and to even to build a temple, so many things are required, and all these activities are done in Krishna's seva. Then all of that is done with emotions with Krishna, then that's great. But if you cannot do some service for Krishna with full emotions, at least assist other devotees in doing some service. That's what Srila Prabhupada says here. And sometimes mechanical devotional service is better than spontaneous sense gratification. That's also what Srila Prabhupada says, that fine, you're mechanically doing devotional service, no problem. Mechanically means your mind is not engaged, but your senses are. But that is even much better than using your senses for sense gratification, which is just using them for your own pleasure. That might be spontaneous, but that's not good. Mechanical service is much better than that. So in this way, even if your mind is not with me, work for me by engaging your hands in me. Slowly your mind will not get diverted, and it will get slowly fixed on me. So in this way, in 12.8, 24 hours a day, you are remembering Krishna. 12.9, sometimes you are remembering, say, a few moments a day. In this verse, you may not remember Krishna, but slowly, once in a while working for Krishna, you will remember him. And even that Krishna is so mercifully acknowledges, and even that will give you perfection sooner or later. So this is working for Krishna is also very, very beneficial. And by the way, today we are not going to be reading because of this this verses that we are doing today. So we'll just continue with this for another 10 minutes. So then the next verse is giving up results of work. Athaita dapya shaktosi kartum madhyogam ashritaha sarva karma phalam tyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So here, like we studied in Bhagavad Gita in the first 6th chapter, the Karma Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? Whereby you are doing the work in a detached spirit. So all your results of work, you are offering it to Krishna. Now here, what the verse is saying is that if you cannot work for me in this consciousness, meaning what? Here everything, the work was done for Krishna. But if you cannot work in that way by fixing your consciousness in me, then give up all results of your work. What you do is you give up whatever work you are doing, you give up the results of the work and you offer it to Krishna or for some good cause. So here Srila Prabhupada says that there are two things. That it is also found that when one who is not even interested in activities of Krishna consciousness, he gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here, because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually, and in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada says here that you can even give charity for some good cause. It may not be directly like activity for Krishna, like how charity was given to build a temple. It may not be that, but it could be for a good cause. So even that will slowly bring you close to Krishna by doing that Nishkam Karma Yoga, because you are working for some good cause. So do your dutiful work and offer results to Krishna and perform activities with controlled mind, devoid of desire. So that is 12.11. And then we come to the last verse. So till now we have seen in 12.8, there were two things, two options, Maranatmika Bhakti and Mananatmika Bhakti. So someone would like to say? Someone would like to say what was 12.8? What were the two options? Well, it's on the screen. So. What is 12.8?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, engage your mind and engage your intelligence.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. And then if that is not even possible, then what do you do? Then it is 12.9. What do? We do Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti. So in here we do Sadhana Bhakti or Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti, and under the guidance of your Guru, you will follow all the rules and regulations that are given in the scriptures, and you try to fix your mind in Krishna by sadhana bhakti, by various services and chanting and serving Krishna, cooking for Krishna. And if that is not happening, then your mind might not be in Krishna, but you will do services with your external senses, and that is mat karma paramo bhava. Right? So this verse also relates to 1155. The verse 11.55, what it says is same here, that you will be engaging your senses and mat karmo bhava. You will do the work for Krishna by using all your senses, because 1155 was mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhakta sanga varjita nirvaira sarva bhuteshu Yasamameti Pandava. So 11th chapter had concluded with Bhakti Yoga, that there Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So there also Krishna says, he who works for me, he will come to me. Here also mat karma paramo bhava, work for Krishna. And we've seen various examples. But if you still can't do that, in the purport of 12.11 also, Srila Prabhupada mentions that some families, they don't allow, say, family members to go into Krishna consciousness or work for Krishna. If that is not allowed, Then also you can do Nishkam Karma Yoga. Whatever work you are doing, you do it in the spirit of offering it to Krishna. Say here, this, I put this picture, student is giving exam. So giving the exam is his duty, and preparing for the exam, all of that is in his hand. But what will be the question paper is not in his hand. So he will be giving the exam with this mentality that I have tried my best and now I will give the exam, but rest is dependent on Krishna. So that is also uh, done in the spirit of Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? And so even if he doesn't know about Krishna or family does not allow to perform Krishna conscious activities, he can depend and say, I'm doing this at that level also, uh, doing it for God. There is higher power. I'm relying on that, but I will do my best. The result is not in my hand. Whatever comes, I will give that result to Krishna. And then, if not temple, they can give charity for some good cause, say hospital. Like that, for example, that also Krishna acknowledges, and gradually and slowly Srila Prabhupada says, by doing such activities, the mind will purify, and at that purified stage, slowly one day he will become Krishna conscious and understand what Krishna consciousness is. And the last verse. So now here all the stages are given of bhakti yoga, say, we'll recite the words. Shreyo hi gnanam abhyasaj, gnanat dhyanam vishishyate, dhyanat karma phalatyagas, tyagat shantiranantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. So first line, okay? Shreyo hi gnanam abhyasaj. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. So that is the second, Gnana Dhyanam Vishishyate. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. Dhyanat Karma Phalatyagas. And if you do this, Tyagat Shantim Anantaram, by giving up the results of your fruits, you will attain peace of mind. So just to put it in simple words, like this verse is, it took me some time to understand also, but if we understand peacefully if we read the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Shreyo hi gnanam abhyasaj, means if one is unable to follow principles of bhakti, what is that? Sadhana bhakti that we saw in 12.9. If you can't do sadhana bhakti, then just cultivate knowledge, at least cultivate knowledge, that is better, which is read about the tattva of Krishna, just understand that. If you can't do sadhana bhakti, read, understand and cultivate knowledge. And if you can't practice bhakti principles, at least cultivate knowledge. And so here we can give example that, say, for example, it's like relative, it's not absolute comparison, but say somebody has only some money which cannot buy the latest phone, then they will buy whatever lower grade phone is available with the money that they have. In the same way, at your level, if you can't do sadhana bhakti, then you gain knowledge. That's what the first line is saying. Then second line says Gnana Dhyanam Vishishyate. Dhyana is meditation, chanting. So that is better than cultivating knowledge. Okay, because knowledge develops into meditation. So meditation is much better than knowledge. So don't just stop at gaining the knowledge about Krishna, but thereafter enter into meditation. Think of Krishna all the time. That is better than just knowing Krishna. So this is higher level. Lowest level is sadhana practice. Then better than that is knowledge, gnana. Better than that is dhyana, which is meditation of the Lord. And then dhyanat karma phalatyagas. If you cannot do meditation, then at least just give up results of your activities. Be detached from results. So devoid of fruits of results, be in the detached spirit. So that is better than meditation. And last, by renunciation, by tyaga, you will become peaceful. Because what will happen is that by tyaga, you will attain peace in terms of stopping your senses from all kinds of distractions and sense gratification. That will give you peace. So I'm not sure if this was understood, but this is the best way that we can put it. And Srila Prabhupada's purport, I had to read also again and again to understand this. So just to repeat it, first thing is Shreyo hi gnanam abhyasaj. Better than sadhana bhakti is attaining knowledge, and don't just stop at knowledge, develop love for Krishna, meditate on his Nam, Roop, Guna, Leela. That is Gnana Dhyanam Vishishyate. Dhyana is better, Vishishyate, than Gnana. Then Dhyanat Karma Falatyagas. If you cannot meditate on Krishna, then give up the results of your activities. And if you do that, you will attain peace. So that is 12.12. So yeah, in short, these are the progressive levels. But at the end of the day, the main thing to understand from here is that bhakti is the best path. And we can see that Krishna is so merciful and he is so accommodative that he says at whatever level you are, you start at that level and he will pick us up, bring us to the next level, like that. So when I read this, I just had this realization that indeed Krishna is so merciful. Otherwise, what hope is there? What hope is there. So this is how he will pick us up from whichever level that we are. But we have to understand one thing, that the potential is there. That's what I could understand, that yes, I am not at that level, which is the highest level, which is, like we can see exalted devotees. We are not always thinking of Krishna, not fixing the mind, but the potential is there. Just like a child has the potential to walk, right? The child will start crawling and then will hold something and walk, or hold a parent and hold the finger, two fingers and one finger, and then walk. Potential is there. Uh, but if the child doesn't walk only and sit in the lap of mother or father, the child will never walk. So in the same way, all of us, we are Sachidananda, we are, Krishna says, Mama Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Each one of us is part and parcel of Krishna. The potential is there in us. So we have to use our the free will that Krishna has given properly and realize the potential and try our best to practice, to do the sadhana, whichever stage that we are at. Sadhana bhakti as sadhaka, struggling sadhaka, but still have to do it. Speaking about me, we mustn't give up, never quit in bhakti. Take devotees association, and lots of services are there, and all of you are doing such wonderful service. So just before concluding, I wanted to give a message from Divinam Prabhuji, that if you can also find at least 5 friends or relatives who can sponsor the packs, the books that they've been packed in, like 7 or 8. How many books are there? All of you go for book distribution, right? Krishna Animata, how many?
7, Mataji, 7.
Yeah, 7 books. So if all of who are there, you already know, if you can bring at least 5 contacts to at least sponsor these packs, then we will put the links in the group after the class. And if you can please do that. So that was the message from Divanam Prabhuji, and very, very grateful. Everybody is doing such wonderful book distribution. We see the messages every day, even in this cold, everyone is braving and going out. So all glories to your services. Thank you so much. If there is anything to add or ask, otherwise we can conclude. Okay, wonderful. So
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
yeah, Taji,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
You have beautifully explained. It was really nice. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Taji. Thank you so much. Okay, so there is a question. Let's have a look in the. Okay, I'll read the question. Is there a difference between giving up the fruits of work and giving up the results of work? No, that is the same thing. Fruits or results is the same thing. My understanding is the fruits is one's earnings, and some should be given to charity, and results is leaving it up to Krishna how much one earns or if one passed the exams, etc. Yes, this is correct. So yes, this Prabhuji, I found this is correct. What your understanding is correct, that the fruits is the earnings, basically the results of our activities is the earnings. So yes, that is some is given to charity, and the results we leave it to Krishna in terms of giving example of the exams. Yes, so the understanding is right. Are you there, Prabhuji, on the call? Because whatever you wrote is, that's the right understanding. Thank you so much for other encouragement and the messages. Okay, so we will end it here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva
Paditanam Pramatebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Srila
Namaha.
Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you.
Bhagavad
Hare Krishna.
Gita.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. No.
咩事啊？佢打電話嚟啊！佢係俾人斬傷咗，而家喺醫院急救緊啊！
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.